Hey guys, welcome to another video. And in this video, I want to talk to you guys about why you should stop being so nice and try to be kind instead. And so if you guys are new to this channel, my name's Akene, and I make videos about personal development and just videos in general that are catered to help us all just live our best lives and become the best version of ourselves. And so in this video, I just wanted to talk about the differences between being nice and being kind, because I feel like those are two words that often get misconstrued or confused, because I'm sure you guys know the classic line that nice guys finish last. And for the longest time, I didn't necessarily believe it was true. But as time went on and as time has gone on, I've started to understand that there truly is a difference between being nice and being kind. And so, yeah, I do believe that nice guys finish last. And I'll kind of outline the reasons here in a second. But first, I want to talk about, for me, whenever I think of being a nice guy, I think about a guy that's doing kind things or doing nice things, but he's expecting something in return. And I think it leaves that person really vulnerable to not getting that thing that they're looking for. And so I think about nice guys in terms of they're only nice to people who can do something for them as well. So whether it's a girl that you really like, and so all of a sudden you're going to be really nice to her because you want her to look at you a certain way, or it's a professor that you need a letter of recommendation from, or you need a good word, you need him to put in a good word for you so you can get a job, or whatever the case may be. It's just this thought of you're only being nice to someone with the expectation that they're going to do something for you when you need them to. And I think that this oftentimes leads to a lot of unhappiness and a lot of stress, because let's say if it's a professor, for example, that you had in college, and you spend, let's say if it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, you spend all this time, getting to know him, or spending a lot of time in their office hours, and just talking to them, and or doing research, whatever the case may be, just going out of your way to try to relate to this person and do these things. And then let's say if you're a senior, and all of a sudden you're ready for this letter of rec, and they don't give it to you. And let's say, for example, it's because they don't write letters of rec, or maybe the professor even retires before you're even ready to graduate. And so the nice guy would be super frustrated and feel like, oh, he was super nice to this professor, laughed at all of his jokes for no reason. And so, of course, this will make the person super unhappy and super frustrated. And even in terms of dating, if you look at it that way too, I used to always think that, oh, if I'm nice to girls, then I should automatically get them just because I'm nice to them. And because of that, I had this expectation of, oh, if I'm nice to this person, then they'll like me or whatever. And so whenever I got, ghosted or whatever happened, I'd always get super frustrated. But that's why it took me a while to realize that, I was nice, of course, because I think it was in my nature to be nice, but I had to stop expecting things. And that was when I realized I was being a nice guy instead of a kind person. And so once I started to make those adjustments, I started to become a lot happier, because I stopped stressing all of these things that I just couldn't control. Because I feel like even with being nice, even if it's something as small as holding the door for someone, if you hold the door for someone and you're nice or whatever, it's like you're expecting them to say thank you. And now if they don't say thank you, then for the next hour or two or whatever, you might be bothered by it and upset. But the kind person, you just hold the door because it's in your heart to hold the door. And whether they say thank you or not isn't going to affect how you feel for the next hour or the rest of the day or whatever. And so that's why, so in terms of, being kind, it's basically the flip side of being nice, because when you're kind, you don't expect anything. You just, you do things, you show love just out of the goodness of your heart. And whether, that person does something for you or not, it's not going to change how you feel about how you conducted yourself and how you handled yourself. Like with the professor example, for me, being kind to professors and being respectful is just in my heart. It's just something that I feel is right. And so whether a professor can, gives me a letter of rec or doesn't give me a letter of rec, it's not going to change how I feel about them or, how I feel about the way that I treated them. And I also think about being kind, in terms of how you treat people who may or may not be able to do anything for you, whether it's professionally, academically, whatever the case may be. And the way that I think about it is, and this isn't necessarily to be condescending, but it's like, how do you treat, the person who cleans up at the library versus your professor? Because even though on the surface it may look like, oh, this person that, cleans the rooms at the library, or this librarian or whoever, even though they may not be able to do anything for you in terms of getting you a letter of rec or getting you an interview at some firm or whatever, it's a matter of how do you treat those people versus how do you treat professors who may or may not be able to help you out. And even in terms of girls, it's the same thing, or people you're trying to date. Do you treat the people that you're actually attracted to different from the people that you're not attracted to? So of course, in life there's people that you're attracted to and people that you're not. And so it's like, do you treat girls that you're not attracted to lower? Are you more condescending towards them versus a girl that you're attracted to? And those are signs that, if you answered yes that question, that I think it's one of those things where you need to evaluate, okay, why am I treating this girl differently from this girl? And really just analyzing why. Because I think that's what it is you treat those people differently, but you're also expecting something from them as well. And I think once you shift your mindset from being nice to being kind, it just leads to more happiness down the road. Because now you can treat everyone with fairness and you can treat everyone with love and respect, but not necessarily because you're expecting something from them, or, not necessarily because, they can do something for you, but just out of the goodness of your heart. And I know that that's another reason why I start to feel a lot better once I started to be more kind to people. Because I stopped trying to do things that I felt would make people happy, or do things that I knew would make people happy. And I started trying to treat people in a way that I knew would make me happy. And that way, if, someone was ever unhappy with me or whatever, I understood that it wasn't because of anything I did. And so, yeah, you guys, I just wanted to make that video real quick and talk about the difference between being nice and being kind. And really just to tell you guys that I think it's important that, you treat people with kindness. And I think the other thing is, when you're being nice to people also, and I was going to touch on this earlier in the video, but I forgot. And essentially when you're being nice to people, I think this is what also leads to people doing too much when it comes to trying to date, and that's why they say nice guys finish last, because when you're just being nice all the time, or you're expecting something, you're more likely to go above and beyond, but in a bad way. So when it comes to dating, you're more likely to triple text a girl because you're trying so hard to get that validation, versus when you're being kind and you're more in tune with yourself, you're more likely to still put out good energy, but you're less likely to end up doing too much in a bad way, to the point where it kind of scares the girl off. And I think that's another reason why that nice guys finish last, because they end up doing too much in a bad way to the point where it ends up scaring, whoever this person is away. And even with professors, I think professors have, a BS meter oftentimes, where if they feel like a student is being overly nice, or they're sucking up a little too much, they get that feeling too. and I think it makes them less likely to give a good letter of rec or a good recommendation. So yeah, you guys, that finally wraps up the video. If you guys stayed for the whole video, I appreciate you. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and also tap on the notification bell so YouTube notifies you each time I post a new video. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.